Hello everyone, I am Hacklebeast, and this is the first quarter-final matchup of Twitch TV's Gambit Cup between LRM and Reps. In the bottom left, we have Bakuryu as the teal Zerg, and in the top right, we have Project as the blue Terran in quite a good matchup. Oh, what happened to my logo? Oops. I don't know why I don't have a Gambit Cup logo. Where's Gambit Cup logo? That's not Gambit Cup logo. Where the hell did my Gambit Cup logo go? I have no idea. Wow, this is bad. Okay. Here's a picture of 8:15 to fill in while I go and try to find my picture of Gambit Cup. Wow. Why don't... No, those are not the right overlays. Is it here? No. Why is my Gambit Cup gone? Picture. It's not in there. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Here's how we're gonna do this. We're going to go to this one. Nope. This one. And we're gonna go to this one. We are going to save a new picture of the Gambit Cup logo. And we are going to import that one. Add media file. Not in that folder. It is in this folder. Okay. And we now have a overlay. Okay. And resuming the game. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of the way early, so that I don't mess up horribly later on. Did I delete that file at some point? I don't know. But it does look like, in the meanwhile, Project's going to cheese. He threw down a barracks and a refinery before, before throwing down the supply depot and is sending out the SCV. Project has been a player who loves proxy factories in the past. Either just building it down here and then rallying vultures in, or more likely he's going to actually lift it in and put it in the main. We'll have to see how Bakuryu responds to it. Well, Project's vulture control is always scary, so it's hard for me to outright say that it's a bad idea, just because Project's vultures can do so much. But against a player like Bakuryu, I really think that Project would... I thought that Project would have had a good advantage over Bakuryu, just in the sense of Project has a really strong mid-game, and Bakuryu's weakest point is his mid-game. So I think that if Project had played a standard game, he would have had a good advantage. But at the same time, it's a 128 APM player versus a 350 APM player. So maybe trying to engage in a micro battle when you have 3 times the amount of APM isn't such a bad route to go. So, first vulture is on the way. It looks like he's not going to actually float it in. He's just going to, he's just going to be building them there. Given that he's going to build them there, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't put it above the mineral patch here. It's going to be out of the, just as much out of the way, and a little bit shorter of a travel distance for his vultures. Maybe he figured that up here was a more common spot for Zerg to check, because if he was going to BBS, that would certainly be the place he does it. But here comes the vulture coming in, trying to pick off some drones, and he's going to be able to get a good number of them. Bakuyu has no defense. He does have a... Ooh, he does have his spawning pool up, but only one set of Zerglings out. Bakuyu tried to play this very greedy, and it might... It's going to look like it's really going to hurt him here. The Zerglings go down. Bakuyu's trying to block the vultures from being able to get into the base, give the Sunken Colony enough time. Project not microing for a second there. He's going to lose one of his vultures to drones. And Bakuyu, with a nice defense, is going to be able to get the Sunken up. So it's going to be very hard for a single vulture to sneak in. He can still pick off fringe drones like this, which is good, and once he gets a second vulture to help him out, he might be able to go for a run by, but Bakuyu going in again, and Project loses his second vulture. That's a horrible... Oh, he definitely should not have done that, but now he lifts in the factory. So vultures are in the main, and man, Bakuyu can retreat these few drones back to the natural where things are completely safe, but that is essentially it. Otherwise, he's just going to have to wait for Hydralisks and hope that Project isn't able to do much more damage. Oh, Project didn't kill those 2 drones. He's going to allow one of them to... Not going to allow one of them to live. Never mind. I really want to see Project start microing these vultures. He really didn't need to lose either of his first 2. He's still in a good position as it is, but it's just unnecessary. The Hydrosten's done. I don't think he's going to be able to actually kill anything. Any of these buildings with vultures. It just takes so long. Meanwhile, what's his follow-up? A command center and a barracks, so it looks like he's going to be essentially transitioning into relatively normal stuff with two barracks behind a command center. And not continue with this aggression. As soon as these 3 vultures are done, he's going to back off. But he has already done a lot of damage to Bakuyu. So, man, I was hyping up Project's vulture control at the beginning of this, and he has not shown the stellar vulture control that he has been known for. He was inactive for a little while there. That might have something to do with the fact that his vultures aren't quite as crisp as they normally are. But, well, he has another vulture in the natural. Bakuyu pulling all of his drones. That vulture cannot take another hit from that Sunken Colony. So, once the Hydralisks get back up here, should be able to clean it up. And Project... Bunker going down, 2 barracks is up, a 3rd barracks on the way, has the academy. Which if you consider, for Project, if you consider that this is what a normal Terran base looks like at this time in the game, with Stim on the way and the command center being dropped down. So Stim is halfway done compared to Bakuyu, who has horrible, horrible saturation and just started his lair, much less a spire. Project is just miles ahead. He's supply blocked at 19, and Project is at 37. Is he actually going to go try to lift it in a second time? That would be pretty bold. I think this Hydralisk is patrolling, though. So, it's certainly going to see the factory. But Project's going to land? No, okay. Gonna back off. So, Project's preferred style is to go for what would be a pre-lurker timing with 5 factories, get +1, and then move out, and then off of that it's really easy to transition into mech. even though it seems like the complete unintuitive thing to do, given that you got an early +1, +5 barracks, but it's a very natural thing to do. Instead, in this game, Project going out for with a relatively small army, but that relatively small army is going to be very hard for Bakuyu to hold off. He is throwing down another sunken colony as Project scans it. He sees that that one's not even done yet. He could go in right now. Only 2 Hydralisks there to guard. That sunken colony is too far back to actually help anything, and Bakuyu can't afford to just let Terran get in there and try to actually use that sunken colony for defense. First sunken's going to go down. It does manage to pick off 1 Marine. Marines are stepping forward. They are slightly in range of that sunken colony. He should back up a little bit. There we go. He's going to take out the Hydralisk Den, and once he takes out the Hydralisk Den, he's even just going to be able to sweep down and completely ignore that sunken colony. I think he can range the hatchery without actually getting involved there. So the Hydralisk Den will go down. I really hope the sound isn't too loud, because the sound is really loud on my end. But, oh, he can range the hatchery from here. He might want to bring in a couple more Marines, but nope, just going to go for it now before those other sunken colonies can finish. They're still creep colonies. The sunken colony goes down, the Hydras go down, it's just down to drones, and GG from Bakuyu. Project with a very fast win for game number 1. Okay. So, we have been in Winners League format for a good amount, of Gambit Cup for the back half, and it's been what we're doing for, what, like 3 months now? A really long time of Gambit Cup, or Winners League. Gambit Cup in Winners League. But, we have switched it up. Now we are in normal format. So Project does not get to continue on for reps. He is only allowed to get 1 win and then possibly a win for ace. I have 7 replays in here, but they are anti-spoiled, or anti-spoiler replays. So I do not know exactly how far it goes. Just throwing that out there in case you happen to see a Game 7 replay that may or may not exist. But game number 2 is Castro versus Tama. Apparently. Huh. I'm going to assume that that's Castro. Just because it's Jose. It's Latin American. It makes sense, right? Jose Lo. And Jose Lo is the white Zerg. And in the bottom left, we have Reps Tama, who is kind of like Rep's other ace player for when Project isn't quite feeling like being an ace player that day. Tama gets the luxury of Plumum trying to pick out good matchups for him, and versus Zerg is not one of his good matchups. So, unfortunately, LRM got the nice pick here. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that because LRM fielding 6 Zergs is a really big possibility at this point. Unless they field Dragon, LRM's going to field 6 Zergs. So, it's hard to get Tama to play against a non-Zerg. But, Tama's still a good player. Regardless of what race he is going up against. Alright, and Castro is going to overpull. Castro's going to overpull. Overpull on cross-map positions. Tama should be fine. Should be fine with just 1 cannon initially. He might even be able to go Forge Nexus Cannon. If he scouts at a time, which he will. It's a little bit iffy doing that, but I think that Tama could get away with it. Alright. So, spawning pool finishing up. I assume Castro will make 6-lings. Some Zerg players do not make 6-lings immediately, just because they want to get early lings to deny scouting or to try to scare their opponent into making a lot of cannons, but they still want to be economic in their own right. Castro, though, not one of those players. Much more about the early ling aggression. which is kind of weird from Castro. He's a player who likes early lings, yet he's a player who has far better macro than he does micro. So it's a little bit weird to see him go for something early in the game where it's essentially all micro. I mean, you're not going to macro off of 1.5 hatcheries. Anyway, Castro is sending out his drone, probably to set up a third. It looks like Tama wants to block it with his probe. There is a Zergling chasing that probe. Nope, gonna give up the chase. No, not gonna give the chase. He doesn't block the hatchery for going down, which is what I thought he wanted to do, but he is going to scout it. So he knows that not only is Castro getting a third hatchery now, but he also knows that Castro is getting a third hatchery that is going to be, excuse me, a third hatchery that's going to be close to his base as opposed to taking another natural. Man, that is really loud for me. Oh, if it's not loud for you guys, then it's fine. So, Tim was able to do, as I said, go Forge, and then Nexus, and then Cannon. And the cannons were up in plenty of time, but Castro's actually going to try to go for a run-by. He can't actually kill off the cannons. Two of them's just not going to work. He doesn't even go for a run-by into the main. He goes for a run-by into the natural mineral line. He can delay mining for a little bit, but he is not going to be able to get any kills. And oh, he needs to turn that Overlord. Okay, he turned the Overlord around. It's going to be damaged pretty far, but not taken out ultimately. Okay. So Castro is probably not going to be able to get any kills with these lings, but he will delay mining time for quite a while, at least until that Zealot comes out, I think, unless Tama wants to get aggressive with his probes, but I think it's safer just to let the Zealot clear it up. So, the lings were not, despite getting no kills, they're not completely ineffective. Oh, they did get a kill. Oh, that was unlucky for Tama. He tried to drill them all there so that only one Zergling would be able to attack at a time. But he didn't quite pull them away fast enough so that the one that was being attacked would be safe. So, only one probe lost. That was a pretty substantial attack from Castro this early in the game. He does like those early ling attacks, as I was saying. So, probably a bit of an advantage to Tama at this point. Just a smidgen of one, at least. And Tama's actually going to get really aggressive himself, go out with just 2 Zealots. He knows his opponent built those early lings and then lost them all. If he forces his opponent to build more early lings, that's really going to slow down his economy. So this could be actually really effective, especially if he's able, maybe, not necessarily if he kills a lot of drones, obviously that would make it successful, but if he can just stall Castro from getting up a good economy at this point. Anyway, he's sending 1 Zealot to each base, and there are a couple Zerglings at each base, but Castro really has to focus. And this is a great move by Tama, actually, even though he's going to lose the 2 Zealots as he's going to lose the 2 Zealots eventually, as Castro lost all of his Zerglings. But I think Tama's actually going to be a little bit more effective in this, just because the Zealots didn't cost him as much in terms of opportunity cost in getting drones, as opposed to building stuff out of gateways, which doesn't cost anything. Ooh. Castro going for the snipe with the lings. And Kama's doing some fancy maneuvers to try to avoid it, and it looks like, yeah, he is going to avoid it. But Castro's coming in with a new wave of speedlings. He wants... he's devoting a lot to these early attacks, and I'm a little bit scared that he's devoting so much. I mean, the Spire's only half... The Spire's halfway done, and the Corsair's already out. That's a little bit slower than is normal, but if you look at drone saturation is just, it's just pretty bad at this point. Doesn't go in with this, doesn't go for an attack with the speedlings. Instead, just wanted to find that Zealot and picks it off. Still, with that many speedlings, though, you're almost obligated to attack at this point. You can't really afford to devote that many resources to that many lings at this point in the game, and then only manage to get a Zealot with it. But that is looking like a pretty fierce wall from Tama. I don't think he's going to be able to block. I don't know why there's a Zealot blocking this. This is textbook Protoss wall. That is definitely tight. Whatever. No reason it can't be double tight. Or triple tight, depending on how you count tightness. So, how many kills did that Corsair get? I can't... There we go. Only one kill, as I thought. And Castro going for very early Mutalisks. Interesting. A lot of times Zerg players will get onto 5 hatcheries and get some kind of economy before going for Mutalisks, but Castro still keeping with the theme of getting very aggressive very quickly with his units. And only now getting up his 4th hatchery. It isn't going to be a... Oh, excuse me, getting his 5th hatchery, but it isn't going to be a close 5th hatchery. It's easy to defend. It's going to be way out here. If he's able to get up 4 bases this early, that would be quite nice. And help him recover a little bit of the economy he's lost. But Tama has his first DT out. Castro probably should have ran his lings away a little bit farther. He saw the DT. And oh... Alright, 7 lings down. Oops. Castro only just finished his 3rd gas here. He's been mining essentially off of 2 gas. And this one was pretty late in and of itself. So he's going to have a little bit of trouble getting up a good number of Mutalisks. He has 5 now, if I can see that correctly. Yeah, that looks like 5. And he still has some in the bank, but right now he's researching... he just finished Lurker upgrade, and he's now getting Lurker, so I think that's where he wants to devote the rest of his gas. I'm actually slightly confused by why Castro would get 5 Mutalisks and then switch into Lurkers. That's a pretty... I mean, that's a substantial investment of 500, but 5 Mutalisks don't do very much. I mean, he's going to be able to pick off a DT... Yeah, with Overlord speed, he's definitely going to get that eventually. There we go. So, I mean, he can pick off random DTs around the map, but I don't know what damage he can do. It's not as if he can harass 5 Mutalisks. It's not as if 5 Mutalisks can really annoy an army like this, especially when there's an Archon or that huge Corsair fleet. Ooh, getting 2 Scourge hits on 2 different Sairs there. A little bit of a mistake from Tama. He definitely had enough Corsairs there to not take hits like that. Anyway, Air Force retreating back. The Mutalisk going in, trying to cover for the Scourge. Are the Scourge going to be able to get a hit? The Archon needs to attack. No. The Archon does not get any of the Scourge hits, so both of the Scourge will connect again. But the entire Mutalisk flock goes down, and this is looking like a very scary attack, except for the fact that there is a single Lurker here. Is that single Lurker going to be enough? I think that the single Lurker won't quite work out because... Did the DT die? No, the DT's still alive, and that's what matters. That DT can clear up the rest of the base, although Tama will lose his army to this huge Lurker field. Castro with a very large number of Lurkers at this point in the game, considering Tama, I bet, doesn't even have a Robo. Yeah, no Robo yet. So, Overlord pops. Can the Corsairs come in? No, Corsairs not quite in time, and actually, he's going to take a lot of damage on these Corsairs. Oh! That was not the right move at all. If he had the Corsairs parking over there, he could have saved the DT, let it do some more damage, and that would have been understandable. If he had just left with the Corsairs, then you don't lose any of them to Hydralisk. That would have been understandable. But to fly them in as soon as the DT dies and lose an extra 2 Corsairs, not what he wanted. Lurkers being annoying in the front. Are they going to be able to get that Templar? I think they're going to get that Templar. I think they're going to get that Templar. There we go. Ooh. That would... It's a substantial mistake to lose your first Templar like that, but to lose your first 3 Templars would have been huge. Well, first ones that didn't become an Archon, anyway. Observatory being builds very fast, so observers won't be taking too much longer. But until then, he's going to have to rely on the cannons. There's still a good number of Lurkers, but Castro does not have the hatcheries to really support much else beyond the Lurkers. He doesn't have the large Hydra Ling force that you would be used to seeing at this stage in the game. Tama is forced to back up. And these Lurkers are really going to pin Tama back for quite some time. Even once he gets an Observer out, it's just going to take a while to bully his way through it, especially now that there is this wave of Hydralisks to provide some kind of cover. Of course, they're still looking for Overlord kills, but they really haven't gotten much damage done outside of, excuse me, outside of this Mutalisk. But here come the Hydralisk trying to attack the third. Tama got really greedy by taking this third. I think he saw how little of an army Castro had and thought maybe he could do some damage, and oh no! He took out the only pylon powering 5 cannons. Oh, that's big mistake from Tama, only having 1 pylon and putting it in the front. Nice job by Castro to recognize that and snipe it. And Tama's going to be able to take out, all the cannons and the Nexus and the pylons. And despite the fact that he lost some Overlords in his base, not being supply blocked at this point. So finally there's observers. Finally Tama can start to deal with the army Castro's throwing out, but Castro's actually turned it around. He's in a nice position. He's in a good position here. Those fast lurkers really caught Tama off guard, and it really limited what Tama was able to do. He thought he'd be able to be aggressive, and he wasn't able to be aggressive at all. And he thought he'd be able to take a third, but with that break from Castro, the third's gone, and Tama's going to try to restart it. But Castro already up on 4 relatively secure bases. Although, with this style, Castro does not have a SimCity. So, if he loses a definite engagement and loses his entire army, he might not be quite able to build up another one in time. And he can't rely on a sunken wall to slow down his opponent before he has to engage. We'll see if that comes into play. Tama loading up 1 Templar and 2 Templars. We'll see exactly how many Templars he loads up. Almost certainly going for storm drops. This map, it's a little not as nice to storm drop on because it doesn't have the siege tank cliffs, but storm drops obviously a possibility on any map. Here comes Castro though. That is a lot of lurkers. That is a lot of Hydralisks. And does Tama have enough to defend? I don't think that this is going to be the best position. It is on a high ground, but I think if he was to retreat back to one of his bases, use some cannons, he might have a little bit of a better time engaging this. But he's going to go for it anyway. Will the high ground be enough? It looks like the high ground might actually be enough to hold it off. It's at least close. Castro did not split out his lurkers very well, so the few storms that Tama's able to get off do good damage anyway. And Castro's actually moving him forward, despite the fact that most of his army is being killed. No, the lurkers, they can't decide. They're going back and forth and now burrowing to be stormed. And Tama is going to be able to hold. I'm not sure what timing he's talking about, just when he attacks. Was it +3 finished for Tama? I don't know. But damn, that's why you don't underestimate the high ground. Castro had a huge army and had a nice big arc to attack from. It's not as if he was being choked. Tama didn't even have too many storms in that engagement, but the high ground, man, deflecting 60% of those Hydralisk shots. It makes a huge difference. So, only a single Templar, which is a little bit rare. Just because you tend to have 2 Templars, just so you can double storm to try to catch the drones as they are pulled away. But Castro's not paying attention. Castro's not paying attention, and now the storm goes down, but not placed in the right position. Only gets 2 drones. He's going to have a chance for 1 more? No. Castro pulling away the drones again. And those 2 Scourge should clear everything up. Does drop the Templar, though. So he might be able to live long enough to get off another storm and kill some Zerglings. We shall see. Surprisingly good upgrades for Castro. He actually has 2-2 for this early. And is getting 3-1 with Ultralisk speed. Once Castro does take this position, which it looks like he's starting to gear up towards, he'll have half the map compared to Tama, who's just caught on his his local 3 bases. Tama is trying to build up a big army, though. But against Ultralisks, this army is not going to be good enough. It's very goon heavy. So, well, it's very goon heavy, and without Defilers, goons have a chance, but that is a lot of cracklings. Anyway, good scouting from Castro. Just looking at the map, looking at all of the Zerglings he has around. Some to try to see army movements, some just in places to try to see bases. Doesn't have one in the place where Tama's trying to expand, but he should be able to figure that out pretty soon. In fact, this Overlord might be able to see something. Anyway, if he gets a really good sense of where his Protoss opponent is, he might be able to get a really good attack off. And he has a lot of units to try to go for a surround. Those Overlords are suspiciously clumped. Like a little too clumped. Like he's... like I almost think he's getting drop. Which would be a really weird decision. But that's... just when you see the Overlord pattern, first thing comes into your mind is drop. Even if it doesn't make any sense. Tama, going to build 4 pylons here. Not going to run into the same problem twice. That's commendable. Far more likely reason for that, rather than afraid of being depowered again, is that he wants to make a wall to prevent Ultralisks from getting in. Still funny, nonetheless. Wow. That is a lot of sunken colonies for a base that doesn't have a choke that he has to defend, because these sunkens already defended. I mean, you can defend drops against that, but that's a lot of drop prevention, considering Tama's moved out 1 time with 1 shuttle with 1 Templar in it. Wow, and Castro's going to just continue to expand. He never did quite take this 6th base. So this, in fact, is his 6th base. And Tama can kill it off, but if he sends his entire army to kill it off, then... excuse me. Then Castro's going to be in a great position just to attack from down here. He can certainly get there in time. So Tama needs to first realize it, because he doesn't quite realize it, and then be really careful about how he moves his army to deal with it. Defilers are now out for Castro. Plague, both Plague and Swarm are going to be great against this kind of composition. Very clumped up, very health-heavy units with the Dragoons and Zealots. Not a lot of Archons, and of course the Goons do nothing with Swarm. To contend with those Ultralisks. He only has 3-1 upgrades, and a flank coming in from Castro. This is the macro of Castro. All of these units coming in, so many Ultralisks. He doesn't exactly micro these engagements, but in a lot of cases he doesn't have to, because he has just so much stuff. And I think he's going to be able to force back Tama because of the fact that Tama... well, one of the reasons is because just Tama does not have a lot of Templar. So few storms are going to go down that he can't deal with the swarms. Pulling back a bit, now throwing down a lot the remaining swarms he has. I think he got into a little bit of a better position, and he will be able to hold, although this Ultralisk is going to be really, really annoying. Really annoying. Oh, and now there are lurkers. That's even more annoying. So, Castro able to engage, but he has so many hatcheries, has so many bases that he's going to be able to make a very similar army again. And what? Ensnare? Really, Castro? Really? Oh man, you thought goons were stupid before. Now it's like we got some exhibit shit going on. Got your green goo over your blue goo. Goo and goo. So much goo. Well, this is looking like a pretty formidable base. Pylon wall, lots of cannons, and 2 Reavers. So we're approaching split map, with the exception of Castro's going to be able to hold this base. With both players having nice upgrades, 3-2 for the Protoss, 2-3 for the Zerg, and nice Plague! That's what I meant. Lots of clumped up goons means that a Plague getting off is going to do a lot of damage. Once again, Tama does have some Templars. They're in the front, though. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose too many of them. And now Castro's going to pull back. He did get a couple of them. Oh, I think he should continue to pursue with the Zerglings just to try to pick off some Templar at the end. Tama's not microing that correctly. So yeah, he's going to lose a couple extra units that he really didn't need to. Yeah. And here come the Ultralisks once again. They are attacking up a high ground, but that does not matter much for Ultralisks. And that is so many Ultralisks. But there's a pylon wall. Will the Ultralisks be able to handle the pylon wall? I don't think they will. I think that Castro needs to back up. Yeah, Castro's gonna back up with a control group of Ultralisks. That's how much he has after the engagement. He has a control group of Ultralisks after killing off all the Protoss. Oh man, 182 supply compared to 138. Castro with a huge advantage here. He should definitely just take this base to have the rest of the map. But the question is he going to be able to break the turtling Protoss? No, very lucky with that timing. Ultralisks just missing out on taking out a lot of those probes. So as I was saying, will he be able to deal with the turtling Protoss? I think if he focuses on this side, there's a lot less defense over here, and he can still crush the army pretty easily. That's not that strong of an army. The Reaver way too far forward. We'll see. Ah, there's drop. That might also be a very good way of breaking these defenses, especially this base. This base is going to be very nice to try to drop that. Tama slow walking a Reaver back here for defense, but without a wall, the Reavers aren't as effective. This will help against small drops, but against a really large scale drop, the Reaver isn't going to be enough to deal with that entire thing. So, Ultralisks now coming in from the other side. Neither player really ready to engage at that point. So they're both going to back off momentarily and try to get into a better position. That's an Overlord. Plague going down. That one not so good, though. Templar and Archon Plagues don't matter, so just hitting 3 Zealots that may or may not have already been injured. Man, that's a lot of Ultralisks. That is a lot of Ultralisks and more. And the Queen. Why? I don't know. I do not know. Tama going in for a storm drop. The drones are panicking. The drones are panicking. The drones are panicking, and Castro's going in for the attack. But Tama's not behind his wall. He's just engaging out in the open. There are 2 Reavers. He is kind of funneling him through a choke. Castro's not going to micro this at all. Like a champ! A-move! Just A-move them Ultralisks! The High Templars want to fly back, but they're killed in the shuttle! Can he A-move through this? Can he get through 5 Archons and Reaver support? He might just... Oh, don't dodge that storm! Let the storms kill 8 Hydralisks and then 5 Hydralisks. That's fine. That's fine. He's got 1 Reaver down. 1 Reaver down, but I don't think he's going to be able to get the other 2. And whoa. Those Templar just like got caught underneath the Ultralisks. It looks like the Ultralisks ate them. But yes, it looks like with reinforcements, Castro making the Sauron Zerg work, and is just going to A-move. Does he have more stuff? Wait, Queen? Yeah! He's gonna slow that 1 Reaver. He's super slow now. Why did you make a Queen? I don't know. Like, both times the Queens come in and ensnared immediately after an engagement, so it didn't do anything. Plaguing the Queen. No respect at all. Tama's with a couple of DTs, but Castro already brought a good number of Overlords, so that's not going to help. And now a new wave of Ultralisks. These ones have not been softened up by Archons, have not been softened up by Storms. So, can Can Castro break through this, or will Tama hold? There is one Reaver. The Reaver's doing a lot of damage to these Ultralisks as they try to break through. They're now working on the gateways in the Forge. Slow on the Dragoons and the Reaver to prevent the Reaver from escaping, I guess. I don't know. Gateway down. Forge down. Ultralisks moving in. And now starting to attack the Dragoons. But is there actually enough stuff to break this again? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. There are more reinforcements coming from Castro in both directions, from both the top left and the top right. But are there Ultralisks? He needs more Ultralisks. He's lost all 50 he's made this game. And it's close. It's still close. More being brought in, and Tama bringing in 2 Reavers by shuttle this time. I think that might be enough right there. The original hero Reaver still not quite dying. It's actually being picked up and dropped over here. I want to know how many kills it has, because it must be a lot at this point. What does it mean? I don't know. Is he bored? Is he bored by his A-moving antics? 29 kill Reaver. That's impressive. And like, a lot of those are Ultralisk kills. Would not be surprised if 10 of those were Ultralisk kills. Okay, like, I'm gonna say 6. 7. My guess is 7. Throwing that out there. Alright. Castro, a little bit of a lull in the action. He's going... Whoa. I was going to say, it looks like he's going to reconsolidate his forces, but he's going to do the exact opposite of that and split some of them off to go attack. I think he might have some hatcheries rallied down here. But Tama has a force. He can't quite rally in units. He does have to A-move them to have a chance. Castro has now taken this base, so it's 7 bases versus 5, with the entire map taken. How close are the players to being mined out? Because that's actually a real threat. Tama's almost mined out here. This one's at a third, leaving Tama with only 1 healthy base. Castro mined out, essentially mined out, and then 1, 2, 3 healthy bases. If Tama's not able to make something happen, then 3 healthy bases obviously going to be able to do a lot more than the 1. And I think that Tama might realize this. He's moving out now. I wouldn't be surprised if he really wanted to take another base of his own. Lots of Panic Sunkens being thrown down, but those are a little bit too late. I doubt any of them are going to get up in time to actually kill a unit. Yeah. Castro now rallying in units. How many of the Sunken Colonies... Looks like he might be able to get up 1 Sunken Colony. Very nice storm from Tama. He has had a lot of good storms this game, but that's not just because Tama's good storm placement. It's also just because Castro is allowing himself to be stormed really heavily. And if he loses this game, that would be the reason why at this point, because of his lack of micro in these battles. Consuming Hydralisks with the Defiler just in time to get down the swarm, but there are no units. Oh, there is a Hydralisk. There is a Hydralisk. Now there's not a Hydralisk. And actually that swarm's going to work against him because Sunkens can't attack under swarm. Why the swarm affects the tentacle, I do not know. That does not make any sense when you think about how swarm is canonly supposed to work. But it's fine, man. It's fine. Looks like another swarm's going to go down, but still too little too late. All the units are dead once again. There is a DT here. So should probably get an Overlord. Generally around. A couple more Ultras coming in, but those 2 Reavers are what's really the problem here, not the Dragoons. And are they going to be able to take out all the Ultralisks? 2 of them down. 2 of them down. Nope. And the rest are going to be cleaned up. So it looks like Tama did manage to take out this base. There were no drones here, so not a huge economic hit for Castro, who has 2k minerals. That's all he really lost. And he's going to have plenty of time to reestablish it. He wasn't taking this base because he immediately needed minerals. This was a long-term investment. He just realizes that he's kind of going to run out of minerals at his bases some point in the future. So might as well take this one now. It's kind of okay to lose it. Tama mined out his original 3. This one, very low. Very, very low. Leaving this This is his only base, and it's already a third of the way down. So Tama really has to be in panic mode at this point. He realizes he's going to be mined out within 5 minutes. And you cannot be mined out within 5 minutes at this point. You do not have the proper army to sustain mined outedness. The proper army would be something that involved lots of Archons, both Dark Archons and normal Archons, but he does not have that kind of army. Looks like Tama's migrating his forces over to the right side of the map. Just kind of just forget the left side. There's not anything important there. Oh boy. Oh boy, Reavers! Oh god, it's like that one game in ISL all over again. The masses of Reavers, and the one heroic Reaver. He's the hero Reaver with his band of Reaver minions. Ultralisks and Zerglings coming in from the back, but that's not a big enough force, especially with 6 Reavers here. 6 Reavers should be able to take care of that pretty quickly, because 6 Reavers do a lot of damage to Ultralisks. Did I mention there are 6 Reavers here? Because that is a lot. It's gonna scourge a couple of the shuttles, so he's gonna scourge one of the shuttles, excuse me, so that some of the Reavers have to be left behind. And stupid Reaver walks in range, but that's fine. It's fine. Didn't die. Stupid Reaver walking in range again. Going to lose a Reaver to a sunken colony. You never want to lose a Reaver to a sunken colony, but sometimes it happens because Reavers forget how far away they can shoot. And it looks like this base will be taken out from Castro. So Tama's starting to do some economic. Storm this! Storm this! Or Reaver this! Kill them! Why? There we go! Okay. I don't know how you only managed to get 8 kills, but 8 kills is good. That's nice. I hope he has the Reaver damage upgrade. Okay, good. That'd be really funny if he didn't get the Reaver damage upgrade. That's not something you normally check for. But it would be quite silly if he's just like, oh fuck, I forgot to make my Reavers that much more powerful. Now they need to 5-shot Ultralisks instead of 4-shotting them. I'm pretty sure it's 4-shot. Oh man. Evac them out, man! You gotta evac them out! It's like Dunkirk all over again! You just gotta get everybody you can out! Call in all the shuttles! Oh. I'm pretty sure that was not the heroic Reaver. Okay, good. We still have Hero Reaver over here with 34 kills. He's only lost 2. 1 to sunken colonies and 1 because he lost the shuttle so he couldn't keep picking up units. Oh, and Hero Reaver gets left behind. Forced to walk. I'm having flashbacks to physical education class. Because that was me. I am a fat kid. Actually, I wasn't that fat back then. I was a wrestler. I'm only fat now. So, mined out. Getting dangerously close to mined out. And still fine. But Tama's really almost out. There is less than 200 minerals here, and he only has 600 in the bank. Even taking an expansion is going to be hard. He doesn't have enough minerals to throw down a lot of cannons. Just to try to defend something. He does have a 200 army, though, so he needs to do some kind of damage with this. Castro only has 140 supply compared to the 200 army, so if this does do a lot of damage here, he might be able to win the game. He's essentially all in, because I don't see how he's going to be able to expand. And this is a pretty strong army to be all in with. Castro needs to micro here. Can Castro micro? Well, his army's not here yet. Okay, now the army's coming in. Now can he micro? Pick up that Free Templar. Free Templar down. There are 4 Reavers, but the Reavers are not being covered. So the Ultralists are going to get in and do some good damage to the Reavers. 1 Reaver down. 2 Reaver down. Plague going down. But still 2 Reavers remain. They're both almost dead. The other Reaver goes down. There are no more Reavers. So it looks like the rest of this army will be killed. The Queen. What is the queen going to do? No one knows. It looked like he used energy. I don't know what spell he used though. I don't see broodlings. I didn't see like the shot. But Tama's army is killed. Castro held it off. If Tama, he had 4 Reavers. He had 4 Reavers. That's unfortunate for him. Because he had his army in a good position to protect the Reavers, and then they started to move forward to take out this base. He was not expecting an attack from behind, but you know what? You really had to. You really had to expect attack from behind right there. And that small mistake might be the end of the game for Tama. I mean, it was an uphill battle from there, even if he was able to crush that base and still keep a lot of things alive. But that might be the one defining moment that just ends it. Play going down, making some Dark Archons. But now the final remnants of Tama's army are going to be sandwiched. Swarm going down. There's relatively small numbers of units for both sides. Castro's still under 100 supply. And it looks like no. Tama will not quite be finished off. He still has a couple units left. He still has his Heroic Reaver. Oh. Where'd Hero Reaver go? I don't know where Hero Reaver went. Must have got picked up by a shuttle at some point. Oh, that's a nice plague. It's like, it's a nice plague because it hit half of his army. But it actually did not hit that much. Just 2 Zealots and a Dragoon. It missed this Zealot and this Dragoon. Oh, 5 Ultralisks. Oh, there's the Hero Reaver. Okay, Hero Reaver. He walked. He walked all the way over here. I don't see how Tama can do this. He is leading in supply. He does have Reavers and Archons, which are really strong, but he's not mining. Castro is mining. And that's the difference here. Tama, that's not a big enough army to break a base. It's certainly not a big enough army to break 2 bases. And that's why he would need to destroy 2 bases to have a chance. But Castro with 3 mining bases... Tama just can't do anything. Eventually, Castro will accidentally attack at a good time. Because he's certainly not going to purposely attack at a good time. He'll accidentally attack at a good time and then crush this army and then win. Oh no. He only has 13 minerals. He cannot build any more scarabs. He has 11 scarabs left. And that is all the scarabs he has. He could mine this and get 4 more minerals, but that won't get him enough money for another scarab. So, what spell we got? What spell we got? Oh! Ensnare on 1 unit once again! Oh, and the Reavers were left alone. The Reavers were left alone! So, Castro's gonna kill this off. Tama's army is destroyed. He has less than 50 supply. GG! LRM Castro winning in LRM Castro style. Make scary armies, laugh at your opponent, a move till win. That's how you do it. Alright, so, next game. I don't even know what the next game is. It is Largo versus Choosy. Okay. Okay. Pretty good match. Pretty good match. So, in the top left position, we have LRM Choosy, the Polish race picker. But given that Reps does not have any Zergs, Choosy, for all intent and purposes, is Zerg for this matchup. Versus Reps Tama. Still blue. Huh, cool. That is the third game in a row the Reps player has been blue. Nice. I like it. I like those coincidences when you like have a team color and you like stick with the team color. I don't know what Reps' actual team color is. I don't know what anybody's team color actually is. Like, I have colors in my mind that I kind of associate with teams. Like, I think Reps is blue. I think IFU is yellow. I think LRM is red. I don't know why I think this. I probably think IFU is yellow because Eon Zerg is who I associate most with IFU because he's the captain, and he is Spanish, and Spain has a yellow flag. Which is silly because he's like the one Spanish guy on the team compared to all the Russian players. But man, that's just the way the subconscious works. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. So, interesting that Tama was sent out on Aztec, because Aztec tends to be a map that Terrans don't like as much. A little bit more forgiving for the TVZ matchup than it is for TVP, and given LRM doesn't have any Protosses, it's a fair, it's not like a horribly mind-bending decision, but just a little bit peculiar, because there are certainly maps where Terran has a bigger advantage rather than, it's kind of even-ish. Alright. So, Chuzi decided to drone scout pretty early, so he knew he was going to find his opponent immediately, either with the Overlord or with the drone. Turns out he's going to find him with the Overlord. The drone comes over and is going to try to harass the SCV and stop it from building. Interesting positioning from Tama that he decided to build the barracks so close to his command center and then go for a fast expansion and not floating fast expansion where he built it down here, just immediately throwing it down. So if Chuzi was to go for some early kind of Ling aggression, it seems like it'd be a little bit difficult to try to hold the command center. But that's not going to be an issue this game, as Chuzi went for a 12 hatch. Yeah, Chuzi went for a 12 hatch. So Tama's going to be completely fine. Okay. Oh! Project was streaming this. Okay. I did not know why people were talking about looking at the other stream when Project was playing. That did not make sense to me. And now I understand. I was thinking, when people were talking about the other stream now, they were talking about Elmaster's stream. Because, theoretically, he is supposed to be casting right now. I don't know if he's casting right now, because I don't have his window open, so I can't look over there. I'm kind of busy with stuff. But, if I had to guess, given his success rate for showing up to Gambit Cup, I imagine he is not here. Chuzi 2-hatch Mutalisk? Chuzi 2-hatch Mutalisk? Who do you think you are, Cole? Has Cole been teaching you how to 2-hatch Mutalisk? Do you secretly want to be as awesome as Cole is? It's a pretty reasonable position to take, man. I wish I was as awesome as Cole is. Alright. Let's see the Spire go down just to confirm that. Yes, indeed, it is a Spire. It is 2-hatch Mutalisk. So, gonna try to do some damage to Tama before he has a proper number of turrets up. More importantly, before range is finished. And oh! Sneaky little run-by with the Zerglings. Just poking in, damaging the SCVs, poking back out. Hey man, if it only cost you a Zergling, I like that. That's pretty cool. And Tama now throwing down the eBay. So, the eBay is going to be in time to throw down turrets before the Mutalisks arrive. If he has the option to throw down turrets, is what I'm trying to say. Will he, in fact, throw down a correct number of turrets? Yet to be seen. It's always such a fickle game to play as Terran. Not to over-turret, but at the same time, you don't want to die immediately. gotta find that balancing act. And you can see that story played out in Pro League if you follow Pro League. Just over the past, even year and a half, just the average number of turrets Terrans build in a TVZ fluctuates. On something is periodic, like every 3 months, you could probably break it out. I bet that'd be an interesting thing to look at. Wow. Let's take a step back and analyze what I just said. I just said looking at a spreadsheet about how a certain race the number of buildings a certain race builds versus certain opponents would be interesting. Man, I'm a nerd. Alright, that's fine. I'm okay with being a nerd. I accept that. Oh shit. Hey, what sent me something? Oh shit, somebody else sent me something. Oh god. Oh god, please don't tell me the stream's been off the entire time and everything's fucked up. Please don't be that. Oh. Okay. I did fuck up, but it's just that I never got around to changing Largo's name. Oops. I announced it was Largo. I think everybody figured out it was Largo. Clearly clearly Tama doesn't play Terran. And Tama was in the last game. Thank you for that, Kikanda. So, the Mutalisks are out. They're going to try to snipe this supply depot. And, they're actually going to engage the Marines? I don't like that decision. No. No. You might be able to get some Marine kills doing that, but it's not worth the risk. It's just not worth the risk, Choosy. It's not worth it. Just take out some buildings. Kill some buildings. Kill some SCVs instead. How much longer till range is done? Oh, range is already done? Wow. This is a pretty late 2-hatch Mutalisk. He didn't send out immediately with 6. He actually waited until 9 was up. And this is why you don't engage Marines. Because you lose 5 Mutalisks. I think it's 4. You lose 4 Mutalisks like that. Just for free. Don't. Man, don't do that, Zerg players. Do not lose 4 Mutalisks to Marines. And get only 1 kill in return. It's just a bad idea. And now Largo has a nice big army and is pushing out. I believe Choosy has enough time to get lurkers up. Ooh, maybe not. Depending on how fast that push is, he might not have enough time for lurkers to get up, as the Hydralisk Den isn't quite completed. It's about 70%. Oh, it's done now. Excuse me. It's a little bit off with the timing there. But alright. Ooh. She's getting +1 attack for the Mutalisks. Well, that's interesting. Is he not going to get the lurker upgrade then? Is he just going to continue with the Mutalisks? Because this is pretty all-in-y from Choosy. I mean, 2-hatch Mutalisk into building 18 Mutalisks so far and getting +1? I mean, he is getting a Hydralisk Den. He's getting the lurker upgrade, but this is treading the line. It might not quite be an all-in with Mutalisks, but is getting dangerously close. He needs to do a lot more damage than he's done. Consider that Choosy has not killed a single building, has not killed a single SCV, has lost about as many Mutalisks as he killed for Marines. This is going horribly for Choosy, and he's gonna all in with them. I don't know. He needs to figure out how to micro Mutalisks. Like, something needs to click in his head, and he goes, "Oh yeah, Cole told me to not have them all die. That's right, I'm gonna start doing that." And then he has a shot. Marines going in, they are caught on a ramp, though. This is a really bad engagement for Largo, and he shouldn't be able to break up this, no. Largo wasn't even focusing on the right stuff. If he had I think if he had target fired some of those Mutalisks, he could have killed off a couple of them. But instead he was focused on the Hydralisks and having a really hard time actually shooting up. So, going to be safe momentarily. Here come the Marines, but those lurkers are going to hatch, and not enough Marines to deal with that. How much longer till factories tech? Siege mode just finishing up now, and science busts are on the way. So, Queen's Nest, excuse me. Queen's Nest started for Choosy. Man, he's gonna be transitioning into Hive Bakuyu style with like 60 supply. Okay, it won't be quite as bad as Bakuyu, because he'll have like 75-ish by the time that the Hive starts, probably. And ooh, mistake from Choosy losing a slow overlord in the middle of the map. Whoops. So I guess, yeah, he's going to be supply blocked with only 65 supply and the Hive started. So wait, this is very Bakuyu-esque in that Hive timing. Is he going to have enough units to defend himself until he can get Defilers out, is the question. This is the army. With a couple of Mutalisks around. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's like, what? 25 supply? Right there? Plus about 10 supply Mutalisks? That's your army. Anyway, Lurkers coming in from the back. They see the dropship. Nothing they can do about it, but they should be able to kill off these Marines. Are they going to be able to? Go the what? Why? Like, the Marine... I was expecting all the Marines to just explode at once rather than them actually being able to kill off some of the Lurkers. But Choosy does manage to win it. He's getting Zerglings over to try to defend against the drop. Not quite fast enough, though. So, a few of them going to remain. Mutalisks coming in to clean up the rest. He should fly the dropship out of there. He might be able to get that away. Oh, really? Wow, they are actually able to kill off 2 Mutalisks. That was surprising. But the drop was still cleaned up, despite the fact that Choosy was losing more Mutalisks to Marines. He really doesn't have a use for his Mutalisks at this point in the game. He's not going to make any more. Meanwhile, Largo, with a base looking very crowded. I guess siege tanks can kind of get out. It just doesn't quite look like it at first glance. Wait, there's a second dropship? I really think I heard another dropship, but I don't see it. Okay, ignoring that then. This is the push. Because Choosy decided not to make an army before going for Hive, he will have Defilers out. Will the Defilers be enough? First Defiler has started. Consume has started, and those will be done by the time the Marines get there. Does he have Defilers at this base, though? He does not have Defilers at this base, so he might be able... So, Largo could just attack this one, and quite possibly eliminate that. Nope. Ooh, wait, no, don't go in Marines. Okay, good. Backing off with the Marines. He definitely should be using the siege tanks. Why the Mutalisk was nice and not attacking 5 siege tanks all alone, I do not know. But I guess that's like the PTSD Mutalisks. He's seeing like all of his comrades explode into red vapor around him. He's just so apathetic to the war at this point. Doesn't even want to bother to shoot at siege tanks. So, Marines going up. This base is certainly going to go down. No Defiler in sight. And that is going to quite hurt Choosy. Switches from being 3-2 bases in Zerg's favor to 3-2 bases in Terran's favor, as this base is now fully constructed. Lurker lane coming in from the back, though, and the tanks are completely unprotected. Largo making a pretty big mistake not bringing the tanks up or not leaving some Marines down on the bottom. But he does have a lot of Marines on the high ground. I don't even know what he casted Irradiate on. He's not going to be able to break down the ramp. He's going to have to wait for the Lurkers to come up. I don't know why Choosy's attacking, though. He's giving the Marines an opportunity to actually win this engagement. And now Largo's just moving down the ramp. Is that going to be enough? Lurkers do not miss. They're not one of the units that miss. Oh, but double drop in the main of Choosy takes out all of his tech before he can respond. And that is the problem with Fast Live. You just don't have enough units. Largo wins. And Reps is up. Reps is up versus LRM 3 games in, and that's a bit of an upset right there. They only need 2 more to advance to go on to play GT. Oops. So, game number 3. Gotung versus Deska? Deska? Is he active? I guess we'll find out. That's an interesting pick from LRM. Alright. Top left, LRM Deska. Whoops, capital S, not capital K. Deska. He is the Teal Zerg. The Mexican Teal Zerg. And at the bottom we have Reps Gotunk. The Chilean Protoss player. Pretty sure it's Chile. Definitely Latin America. 90% sure it's Chile. Yeah, it's Chile. It's Chile. Now, Deska is a player who was rarely seen for LRM's lineup. They have... Not only does LRM have so many good players, they have so many good Zerg players. Cole, Bakuryu, Pike, Choosy. Who's the other guy who's played? Did I already name all the guys who played? Bakuryu, Choosy, and the first game was... Oh, Castro, yeah. So, Castro, Cole, Bakuryu, Pike, Choosy. Just all great Zerg players. It's interesting to see them use Deska. Okay. So... On the other hand, though, Reps has used Gotunk. Reps has used Project. Reps has used Tama. Reps has used their best players so far. So, despite the fact that they're up, it's certainly possible for LRM to force an ace match out of this. Definitely within their grasp. I got a message? Oh. I got a message from Gotunk. I'm assuming it is saying that I am, in fact, Chilean. Oh! It was not him telling me that he is Chilean. It is him telling me that I did not capitalize his name correctly. He really wants that capital N. There you go, buddy. You can have that capital N. Unless he was telling me that I'm just pronouncing it wrong. That he wasn't actually saying I care about you spelling it that way, but I want you to pronounce it Gotunk. I want you to really emphasize the G, the T, and the N. I really hope it's the former, because I am certainly not pronouncing it like that every time. A little bit of a dance between Deska and Gotunk here. Okay. Anyway. That is a fast... excuse me, that's a fast extractor, and speed is almost done. He mannered himself. That is not a good sign. Mannering your gas this early, and... Okay. So we got some speedling aggression. But Gladiator is a wall that... Gladiator is a map that's pretty easy to wall. Gotunk saw the speedlings coming, so he can pull enough probes. I don't know how this can work. And no. Not a single kill. Ops. It's like, oh... When I meant to hit the covert ops button. I wanted to make ghost, but I accidentally speedlinged. Oops. I opsed. Or I wanted to ops. That's fine, man. Just go 2-hatch Hydra. That's cool. You're Zerg. You don't actually have to have an economy. Pfft, pfft. Saturation is for those wimpy races over there that need to have good macro or reasonable building placement or shit like that. Just go 2-hatch Hydra. Completely legitimate build. It's fine. Everything's going exactly according to plan. You're gonna lull Gotunk into a false sense of security. And then Hydra bust the shit out of him. 2-hatch Hydra style. Ooh. Okay. Okay, getting drop. Is it going to be for... Could it be for lurkers instead? He doesn't have enough gas for speed. So if he drops... Okay. He's going to have to drop them in one at a time. Or two at a time. One Overlord at a time anyway. And he's sneaking this Overlord down here. Alright. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see it. Let's see it. Gotunk already scouted it though. He's scouted 2-hatch and a Hydralisk dead. He should probably know it's lurkers. He certainly knows he's about to be cheesed. That is horribly apparent. He could think it's 2-hatch Hydralisk. Almost certainly going to think it's lurkers. Oh man, Deska's gonna lose his Overlord, be supply blocked. That's bad. You can't make lurkers. On the bright side though, Deska does have 450 APM. That's nice. And yep, Overlord popped and then immediately can't make anything again. He could make one lurker. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, Gotunk. He knew all he needed to do is kill the Overlords. Deska does not have 5 minutes to wait for another Overlord to get into position. He is really dead. Ooh, that's 6 drones plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 20-ish drones. And he does not have enough Hydralisks to defend all of his Overlords. This should be pretty easy win from Gotunk on this point. It's gonna be a pretty easy win for Gotunk at this point, and it's going to put reps up 3-1. Oh man, LRM has to win 3 games in a row. They still do have Pike. They still do have Cole. They still do have an ace match. 3 wins in a row. Not at all a horrible surprise for LRM at this point. But given that they went with Castro, who only was just recently added to their roster, and they're going with Deska, who this is one of the only times he's played all year, it's leading me to believe that maybe LRM does not have their entire roster. Maybe LRM has to rely on their undefeated ace player. He's 3-0. He's no one. Maybe no one can step up, turn this thing around like he did before. You gotta get Overlord speed, so he's gonna load up for 1 drop. This is the only hope. Gotunk. Okay, I think that actually that Zealot might have scouted one of the things being picked up. He certainly knows what's going on. Getting his Corsairs in position, they probably won't be able to kill any of them before they drop. Okay, managed to kill off 5 Zerglings. That's nice, but there are cannons already in the main. It's a good number of units that can be easily brought back. Using probes to attack lurkers, not traditionally the best of ideas, but it's fine. It's fine, it worked out for him. He only lost 1 probe. And he's going to kill off all the Overlords again. Deska down to 19 supply. 19 supply, there we go. And yeah, Deska's got problems. 3 speed lots running in. He already ran by with one speed lot earlier. That got a drone kill. Yeah. So if Deska wasn't dead before, he's extra dead. He's like, he's so dead. He's so dead. If I was to describe Deska right now, I'd say he was cadaverific. I totally stole that, but I love that joke. So, whatever, man. All jokes are stolen. It's fine. So, no Hydralisk Den, no spawning pool. Yeah, there we go. GG. Reps! Reps only needs one more win. Who do they have left? They have DeWalt and they have Gag. They have 2 good players left. Along with the rest of their roster, which isn't bad, but that's 2 good players right off the top of my head. They still have. Compared to Cole and Pike. So 2, again, very good players for LRM. And next up will be Pike versus DeWalt. So 2 of those players I was talking about. Okay, it is good that LRM still has good players left. And it was not, we have nobody, let's send in Deska and hope people and just kind of hope. There were more players behind that. So, top left, we have LRM's Pike, who is white. There we go. And on the left side, we have Reps, DeWalt. Cannot remember if it's capital W or not. Waiting for that to change. There we go. No capital W. Walt. Coincidentally, DeWalt is the name of a hardware store by near where I live. So, most likely no relation. Probably. Anyway, Pike. If you don't know these players, you probably do not follow 4 and Brood War very much. Because while they're not the absolute biggest superstars, they're certainly well-known players who've been doing a lot of things over the past 6 months. DeWalt has the most games in Gambit Cup. I'm pretty sure he has the most games in Gambit Cup. With not the best of records, but at the same time, he did have to play a very stiff competition to get there. I was having an impromptu conversation with LRM Game, LRM's manager, and he said that he is, of all Russian Protosses right now, he is most scared of DeWalt. And he thinks DeWalt's the best player. Is that true? Maybe, maybe not. I had a different take on the subject, but if somebody as good as LRM Game thinks you're the best Protoss player in Russia, clearly you're good. Regardless if you actually are the best or not, you're definitely very strong. And alternatively, you have Pike, who may just be the best Polish Zerg player. Very, very talented player, strong in all regards, especially ZVP. So this is going to be a very hard match for DeWalt to beat such a solid player as Pike. Do it. I'm thinking about putting up Pike's sexy picture. But I don't know if I should do this with the cast as serious as the quarterfinals. I don't know. Do you guys want to see Pike in really tight pants to be the overlay for the rest of the game? Or is that something you don't quite want to see this time around? Contemplating it. I did promise him every game I casted. And this is a game. And I am casting it. Okay. Pike's getting his third and his gas. And that gives me enough time to go put the overlay up. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We got Pike. We got Pike. Boom! Yeah. Luckily, he was in the correct folder, so it did not take me very long to find him. Nice. Alright. So, this is the what, third? This is the third PV. Excuse me. This is the third PVZ we've seen today. Yet it's the first time that players actually done like standard. Only build a few Zerglings, then get a lair, then get a spire, then get 5 hatcheries most likely. Which is a refreshing change. Zergs, I don't like when Zergs get a little bit too sedentary on let's do the same thing every game. Let's all do the same thing every game. So we had a little bit of variety. As we saw, it did work out for one player. Did not work out for one of the other ones. To break away from convention. Okay. So, actually, these two, this is not the first time that they've played. In the Winners League set, where Reps is able to upset LRM, Pike and DeWalt were the first 2 players for both teams. DeWalt got sent out first a lot for Winners League, and LRM Games quote-unquote sniped him and sent out Pike, because Pike was probably the best player for the job. And actually, DeWalt was able to get the upset in that match and won it over Pike, which was quite the surprise. Then went on to lose to Dragon, who is nowhere near as good as Pike. But still, impressive. Excuse me. An impressive showing. DeWalt's record is kind of like a microcosm of Rep's record over the course of Gambit Cup, because they're pretty much, they both have next to even records, and they both have to play really good people, and they play strong versus really good people, but at the same time, occasionally they just fall flat on their face, and they lose to players that really are not on the same caliber. So, Corsair has the first kill. Where are the first Scourges? I'll get back to that later, because that's important to note. Oh, wow, he's not making Scourge. Why are you not making Scourge? Okay, there's a Scourge. Finally. A little bit late with that, but DeWalt not attacking Overlord probably would not have been able to get down. I wanted to point out... he's putting one of his sunken colonies on the outside of the wall. Ooh, it's a judgment call. Obviously, if you have the sunken colony here, you're going to be able to hit a lot more units as they come in. It covers a lot more area. But at the same time, if you put it back here, it won't be able to cover as much stuff. It won't protect the Hydralisk Den from Dragoon Fire very much. But it does make it so that it can't be sniped by these Zealots. And let's see if the Zealots are able to do it. Zealots going in. There's Zerglings coming up from behind that will help out in this engagement. And yeah, that sunken colony is just going to go down. And this is why I'm always really afraid of Zerg players doing that. He has enough Zerglings coming in from the back that he doesn't need that one sunken colony. But if the sunken colony had him in the back, then the Zealots would have died trying to get to it. Looks like we have a little bit of a misrally from DeWalt, losing a couple of Zealots just walking into Zerglings there. That's a mistake. Coming down this space, this time we're gonna have both Sunkens behind the wall, so much harder for the Zealots to get back. Well, okay, that's a Spore Colony. Sorry, I thought he was throwing down another Panic Sunken. He really doesn't need one. 2 Sunkens is gonna be enough for 4 Zealots, especially given that they're behind a wall. Ooh, but Pike Speedlings catching the Zealots out in the open. One going down, and I think they're gonna be able to get to the other ones. Ooh, Zealot got caught. Both of them pretty low life. I don't know, about 7 hits for this one, 5, or no, more than 5 hits for that one. Okay, they're recharging shields. Too hard to calculate. Are they actually going to be able to get home? Speed kicks in. Speed kicks in. Yeah, I guess those two heroic zealots will be able to just barely make it back. Nice. So, fourth hatchery going down for Pike. Looks like he's going to transition into Turtle Zerg mode. Very strong stuff. And he already has lurkers out. Those are very fast lurkers from Pike. Most of the time, Zerg players will opt to have more Hydralisks out on the field. Just because Hydralisks are a little bit more mobile than Zergs at this point. But he can start setting up a contain now. He's actually going to be able to snipe one of the lurkers with Storm, but the other ones should be able to take out the gateway. Lurker's one of the worst units in the game at taking out buildings. They have just such low DPS, especially for such an expensive unit. Anyway, DeWalt going out for another attack. Odd composition. Again, 6 speed lots, but this time with 2 High Templar. He needs to be really careful to not let those things be sniped. He cannot let them be sniped. Oh! One sniped. One sniped. It's going in. It's going in. Storm going down. Nice. Okay. 6. 6 drones for 2 High Templar? That's worth it. That's worth it. Would have been even more worth it if he hadn't lost that first one to being sniped by Zerglings. But, yeah, that's worth it. Pike. Apparently a very happening dude. As you can tell by his picture. He needs to go handle that phone call. Probably just like a line of women at a payphone. And the line just like wraps around the block. They're all calling him to profess their love for the sexy nerdy baller. So, DT out, and with no Overlords, no Hydralisks, Pike's going to be forced to back up with his Lurkers. You would think Pike would be forced to back up with his Lurkers, but oh no. Oh, the DT goes down! He accidentally stormed the DT. Never mind. DeWalt, by moving out, DeWalt is actually going to make it so that he cannot continue the contain. Or can't break the contain. That's funny. If he didn't bring out the units, the Lurker Splash would not have accidentally hit the DT, and then he would not have stormed the DT, so the DT would still be alive. DeWalt with a quite heavy goon composition for this point in the game. Goon compositions are really meant for dealing with Sim Cities, as they're quite good against that. But if you can catch that goon force out in the middle of the map and get a nice surround on it, it will melt very quickly, and it's quite an expensive force to lose. This is especially bad when you have 6 Dragoons going in the wrong direction. If that force is picked off, that's such a huge investment lost, and they will do absolutely nothing to the Zerglings that are attacking them. So, just gonna throw it out there, I like DeWalt's building placement. I mean, this one can't make Dragoons, but it looks cool, and that's what really matters, right? Right? It's like, I get a kind of like a modernist architecture vibe going for this, because it looks like an office building with huge like uniform glass paneling on it. Can you see it, man? It's almost like a 3-dimensional picture. If you kind of think of it like looking at glass paneling from different angles. This might have to do with the fact that I took an architecture class last quarter, so I kind of see architecture in things I shouldn't be seeing it in. But yeah, definitely seeing some architecture, some like modern architecture. Not like trippy modern architecture with like weird buildings that make no sense just for the sake of making no sense, but modern architecture in the sense of big glass box. So, DeWalt's expansion is going to be taken out really easily. He did not defend it at all. I'm just kind of hoping he could get it in under the radar. But Pike doing a good job of scouting that out. And, wow. That observer was not helpful at all. Like, at all. And Lurkers are going to move in, but Lurkers are not good versus Dragoons. Okay. Backing off now. DeWalt should have been able to pick off 6 free Lurkers, essentially. Ooh. Going in for a Zealot drop. 3 Zealots. Interesting, only going in with 3, but it's a distraction as he goes in with the rest of his army up top. Pike has to deal with both, and he's not really dealing with either. These Zealots, certainly. There's not much here. Storm drop going down. That's why there are only 3, because there was still a Templar left. That did not do a lot of damage, though. Meanwhile, the attack's still going on here. DeWalt forced to pull back momentarily to deal with Pike's army. Oh, Pike not storm dodging with the Hydralisks. And DeWalt still has a big army here. He's backing off once again at a great moment to engage Pike out in the middle of the map rather than being choked off. Getting his entire Dragoon force to bear. And Pike went for those early Lurkers, and these early Lurkers are being countered very severely by the Dragoons. I don't know why DeWalt's not engaging, though. He can kill these off pretty easily. He only has 1 observer. He needs to keep that safe. Okay, takes out the Scourge. Good. That would be quite bad for DeWalt. It's only had 1 observer this game, so if he loses it, looks like those other Zealots died. I don't know why they ran down to the main. They should have just stayed up high, unless these Zerglings have kills. No, they didn't run down. Anyway, good damage done. 65 supply compared to 135 for DeWalt. Is DeWalt going to be able to upset Pike? I don't know. Overlord going down, but Pike has quite a bit of overhead, a 27 supply cushion. So, losing that Overlord did not hurt him. DeWalt pushing out again, now with +3 upgrades done. Compared to Pike, has 2 armor, but no attack upgrades. Oh, he has attack upgrades for the Zerglings, as an indication that he really just is not going for many Hydralisks this game. Yeah, did not get Hydralisk attack, despite the fact that it would have helped his Lurkers. And this army is going to be crushed from Pike. More reinforcements coming in, though. Good storms from DeWalt, but DeWalt has so few Templars this game that he can't really carpet the battlefield with storms. DeWalt still maintaining a pretty good army, though. Is going to be able to kill off the remnants of Pike's army, but this is no longer big enough to actually do any damage. He needs to pull back, regroup, and try to come back again with a more consolidated force. Don't lose Zerg. Dang it! DeWalt did it again. And Pike is so aggressive this game, but he's being aggressive with armies that are clearly smaller. You're Zerg, you should have bigger armies, not smaller armies. Just wait a little bit. And then you can kill him. Meanwhile, DeWalt now transferring probes to this base. He has managed to get it up. And it's about time. DeWalt getting dangerously close to mining out before he could get that one out. Main completely void. Natural, ooh. A couple of those only have 4. But Pike has scouted it. DeWalt's army just slightly out of position, so they'll be able to get here, but not before all the cannons go down. And Storm on the Hydralisks, nice. How many probes are going to die? Speedlings can do some good damage. 1, 2. 2. Only 2 probes down. Did take out all the cannons, though, so this base is going to be vulnerable. Going to cost DeWalt quite a bit to replace all the cannons. He does have a little bit of a bank. He hasn't been the best about macro this game. But off of only 1 base, it's going to be significant investment to throw down a lot of cannons there. But something he has to do. Puts his army production on hold for the time being. Meanwhile, Pike, well, despite having that nice cushion, he was up to 130 supply at one point. Has lost a lot of these Overlords to Corsairs. Loses yet another Overlord. How many kills do they have? 3, and 2. There's another Overlord there, but a couple Hydralisks. Gonna make DeWalt think twice about attacking. And Ultralisks are out for Pike, but Pike doesn't have the best of economies either. Only 4 bases. So we can get out some Ultralisks, an okay number of Ultralisks, but not huge waves like you could off of 5 bases. You really want 5 base Ultralisk. Okay. DeWalt getting the robo support. Good idea at this point, incorporating some Reavers into defenses of these bases, especially down here. I believe that is where he intends to be using Reavers. And Pike with a pretty good number of Zerglings, just threatening a little bit. I don't think DeWalt actually saw them though. Man. Oh, I broke my headphones, so I'm using earbuds now. And yep, we're right at that 2-hour mark where earbuds start to hurt. So, luckily, pretty short cast today. Just this one clan league. And I can grin and bear through the pain. That's fine, man. That's fine. Uh-oh, Pike. You can see the white on the map. He's moving in, trying to get to surround, but the bottom part's going to get there just a little bit faster than the top. And oh, the Ultralisks! The Ultralisks need to get in there! Oh, the Ultralisks were a little bit late to the party. Most of the bottom force has been taken out, but now the Ultralisks are coming in, and oh, DeWalt's just going to crush that. DeWalt's going to crush that with overwhelming goon numbers. Pike done goofed. Pike done goofed. It was already slightly mistimed to begin with, but he didn't actually bring down the units to help out. Oh. He is still able to do a good amount of damage, though. But he could have done so much more. And will the last Ultralisk go down? And no, 3 health. Oh, yeah, 3 health. Turned around momentarily. Ugh. Pike's at a stage of the game where he can't just sit back anymore. He needs to start attacking things to do damage. And, like, actively hurting DeWalt's economy. Because if he's not hurting DeWalt's economy, his economy isn't good enough to just kind of ignore DeWalt's expansions. Pike needs to make something happen. And the injured Ultralisk. Now up to 19 health. Man, I can't remember where I read how long it takes for an Ultralisk to regain all of its health. I think it's something like a half hour. A half hour of game time. Anyway, Zerglings moving in. They're able to stream through the gap. That's not a tight wall, obviously. Ultralisk Zerglings attacking in. They're going to take out the rest of the cannons. They get a pretty good surround, but lots of Archons there, so the Archon's able to do a good amount of damage. Going to be able to just barely be able to crush this, but DeWalt losing lots and lots of probes, and more probes transferring in to get killed. Okay, he turns them around, doesn't lose too many of the transferring in ones. And it looks like he won't quite be able to take out the Nexus. He does get a good number of kills, though, with his other units. Now, we can't quite see it. Oh, but he moved the Archons out of the way. Maybe he lost the Archons. I wasn't quite paying attention to that part of the battle. And this base will certainly go down, as opposed to just possibly going down. Losing that probe as well. It was kind of hiding under the Overlord. But DeWalt, ooh, down to just 1 base and no map control. Only 82 supply. The fact that he was so late with his expansions now coming back to haunt him, and now that Pike has taken out a base because DeWalt wasn't quite adequately able to defend it. Pike might be able to work his way in. I don't like this decision at all from DeWalt. He might be able to do some damage here, but he's certainly going to lose 3 Archons and 2 Templar, and he cannot afford to lose 3 Archons, 2 Templar right now. He doesn't even take out the hatchery. GG from DeWalt. Pike takes it back from the brink and keeps LRM alive. It's 2-3. So, final match before Ace. Deafy? Not Gag? This is spoiler ace. We don't know if that's a real thing. That'd be a pretty good match. But we don't know. Huh, Deafy, really? Okay. Top right, we have LRM's Dragon. So despite I said LRM, is it capital O? Yeah, it's capital O. I said LRM would have an all-Zerg lineup unless they decide to send Dragon, and they send Dragon and still have an all-Zerg lineup anyway. But it is Dragon versus Reps Deafy, who is still blue. Oh man, if that's not an omen that all 6 of your players were blue, how can you lose? You got teamwork on your side, man. As opposed to all these like mercenary forces from LRM taken from all the different spectrums of color. No, Reps is blue. The Protoss is blue. The Terran is blue. We're all blue. What was yellow? Did I not change the color for the last game? I'm gonna pretend they're blue, because that's a lot cooler than otherwise. Okay. Anyway, map at Circuit Breakers. LRM's Dragon. He is Protoss for most of his matchups, but does not play the mirror. Plays ZVP instead. And Deafy is the team captain for Reps. Which, I was surprised to see him come out, because Reps specifically picked up Gag. And Gag doesn't have to play for IWL anymore. So, like, this would be a really good time to use Gag. But apparently Gag's just not going to get playtime this clan league. I wonder if he didn't show? Maybe they regretted their decision in picking up Gag? Okay. So, Dragon went for Overpool, has 6 slings on the way. And Deafy... excuse me. Deafy should be fine. We'll have enough time to throw down one more building. Excuse me. And either cannon or a gateway. Okay, there's the cannon. It's going to be pretty close. Whether the Lings get there before or after that other cannon finish. Ooh, they even were able to snipe the probe. That's a nice pickup. It's going to be pretty close whether the Zerglings actually get there before or after the cannon finishes. But they'll be able... But the other cannon will be able to support it long enough that the Lings shouldn't be able to get a very big run-by or actually kill off the cannon. Yeah, it look... Oh, Lings are going to get distracted. Normally you do it the opposite of that, and you said 1 Ling to chase and then 5 down. Well, it looks like Dragon went for the opposite of that. I'm pretty sure it was an accident. And, oh, nope, there are 2 cannons there. So I'm not going to throw away all of his Lings in a failed run by. Just going to lose 3. I need to take away Pike. As nice as it is to constantly look at Pike, he is no longer playing. He did his job. He did his job in his tight pants. His European tight pants. Apparently they're all the rage in Poland. I have to admit, I do not know much about Polish fashion, other than that Pike once said that lots of people in Poland wear those pants. I imagine there's also a lot of jackets, because I hear it's pretty cold in Poland. Layer, excuse me, layer's halfway done for Dragon. That layer was a little bit early. Normally your layer, No, never mind. The lair's normally timed. Sorry. I got a little bit confused with the hatchery timing. I thought he might have started the lair. I thought he might have, like, gotten the gas, like, significantly before throwing down the third hatchery. But it looks like it was generally at the same time. Anyway, Duffy is doing stuff normally on his own. Stargate's almost done though, and he has to throw down the Citadel. Citadel? That's not Citadel. Duffy should be throwing down a Citadel at any point here. And do it. Do it. There we go. Okay. He had enough money for it. That was just a little bit late with the Citadel. So, if he goes for an attack and the speed isn't quite finished when he arrives, that's why. Because he didn't quite start the Citadel fast enough. Wait. No. No. No way Kid Canada got the hardest group. Kid Canada does not have the hardest group. I know, because when I was picking my fantasy team, one of the easiest picks was picking Kid Canada. Because it's like, okay, he's clearly going to get out of his group, and he's a talented player. He's better than anybody else in that part of the bracket. I can't remember who's in his group, but there's like one other good player. And even if Kid Canada gets upset, which it would be an upset if he lost to the people in his group, even if he got upset, he would still be so much better than the other two players. You do not have the hardest group. Don't even give me that bullshit. Jumper has like the easiest group. He's in the group with 2 unknowns. And the one other player who's known as Semi. Which, given how many good people in this tournament, I'm pretty sure Jumper was being sarcastic. He better be being sarcastic, because he has the easiest group. Alright. So, Dragon has his 4th base up. 6 hatcheries. Oh, it looks so standard. This is a cool wall, though. You don't see many Zerg's wall quite like this on this map for it to be so close to the ramp. But I like it. It looks nice. These hard diagonal lines here. I wonder if he's actually able to get units out of this, though. Apparently he's not. No. This is the only gap in it. And that is not a very big gap. Those drones were getting stuck. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to get into an internet argument about who has the hardest group. Because not only should I be casting more, but I also don't exactly have the groups in front of me, and I can only remember vaguely off the top of my head which ones I thought were particularly good or bad. So, Deffy moving in, and oh, Deffy catching the drone timing! Oh, very unfortunate for Dragon. It's going to cost him 2 drones, and might have cost him more. Now, this is the problem with keeping the wall so far back, that the Sunkens actually don't cover this far down. And the Zels can get into a good position. After taking out the extractor, they can get into a good position to do a lot of damage outside of range, or out in minimal range of the Sunken. But no, they're getting drawn into range of both of the Sunkens, so the Sunkens are going to be able to help out a lot in this attack. The Zealot is not going to be safe to attack the drones because the battle didn't last long enough. And despite losing the early extractor, Dragon very well took care of that. There's a better way of saying that, but you get the general idea. Okay. I'd be really surprised if anybody knows what Wallace's best matchup is. I did hard research onto who I should pick for my fantasy team, Dyslexic or Wallace. And by hard research, I mean I looked at the results for the C-Rank Team League. He won versus a Protoss, and he lost versus a Zerg. And that's why I picked Dyslexic, because Dyslexic is Zerg, and Wallace lost to a Zerg. Flawless logic. Man, didn't Jumper get into round of 8? I thought Jumper... I'm pretty sure Jumper was the last Protoss. I thought he managed to get into round of 8. But maybe I'm thinking of a particular OSL where there was only one Protoss and the Protoss got into round of 8. Or MSL. Yeah. Because there's definitely an MSL like that too, where it was round of 8 and there was only one Protoss. Nope. Took a Scourge hit. Oops. Whoa. Apparently these High Templar just need some exercise. They didn't want to be fat and ride in the shuttle. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna get into the shuttle. Too much exercise. Got way too excited there. Just thinking they could walk across the map, or kind of glide across the map, skate across the map. Why do High Templars activate mines? They glide. They clearly are not walking. And Archons don't activate mines because they're supposed to be gliding. So, but High Templar glide. Why do High Templars activate mines? Doesn't make any sense. I'm watching this because it's going in. I don't want to miss it. Should be focusing on this attack with the Hydralisks, but no. The shuttle's going in. And dropping both High Templar and the Natural. Good storms, very nice storms, but the Templar, excuse me, but the shuttle got sniped. So both of the Dark Templars are going to die. These High Templars chilling out. There's one storm left, so no, it's not gonna be able to kill all the Zerglings. He has to try to consolidate the Zerglings. He's got it. Oh, he could have casted the storm and then saved his fellow Templar, but no. Whoa. There are a lot. That is a lot of mod chat. You were right. It's only 3. So, it's only 3, and 2 of them are my boss. So, I mean, I'm not just going to unmod Kid Canada for the sake of not having as much mod chat. That's fine. I'm okay with lots of lightning bolts. Lightning's cool. Defi agrees. Lightning's working out pretty well for him. So, Dragon, how... he hasn't quite made the transition into Hive yet. Is it about the right time in the game for a Turtle Zerg to think about going Hive? But at the same time, he doesn't have a huge army, and it's completely reasonable to want to get a little bit bigger of an army before going for that jump. Surprisingly bad upgrades for Dragon. He only has he has a single attack for the Hydralisks, and then not working on anything else. Only now getting a Lurker aspect. Those are really bad upgrades for Dragon. He has a lot of gas. Well, I guess he hasn't been making Mutalisks, and he hasn't been making Lurkers, so pretty reasonable that he has an excess with 4 gas, or 3 gas. He hasn't taken this one quite yet. Meanwhile, upgrades. Oh, can't see on that one. There we go. 2-1 for Defi, with +3 halfway. So Defi definitely ahead with the upgrades, ahead with the army size too. 150 compared to 110. And Defi's going to expand now. I don't know. Defi's with neither player really done much in this game, but Defi's looking pretty strong at this point. I guess the storm drops did help, but I think Defi's just taking advantage of the fact that Dragon is turtling up and doing it brilliantly. So, Dragoons going in. I think there are too many Hydralisks here for this to work out for Defi. He should probably pull back. He does have the upgrade advantage, but I don't think the upgrades are going to be enough. I don't think the upgrades are going to be enough. Apparently the upgrades were enough. More reinforcements are coming in from the back. They're going to be able to chew away at these goons. 2 of them down. Zealot's coming back to try to tank shots with the goons now that they took care of all the Zerglings to the right side. So Defi's actually microing this battle pretty well. He could have lost all those Dragoons very easily there. The Lurkers have finished, though. There is an obs. There's 2 obs out. So that's not going to be an issue for Defi, who even catching a Scourge. No Overlord, though, so it's not as if they could do anything. And the Zealots are going to be taken out by all the Lurkers, but there's still a good number of Goons left. Goons on Zerglings, but not enough Zerglings to actually get any of the Dragoons, I don't think. I don't know why he's microing back. Oh, reinforcement Hydralis coming from the back. He saw it with his Dragoon, so he realizes he wants to try to save some of them. As many of them as possible. And oh, stupid Dragoons. Stupid Dragoons get trapped and died. Yeah. Don't lose your High Templar. Defi, you need more storms. If Defi had Storm in that last engagement and just gotten off a couple of decent storms on those Hydralisk clumps, they were so compacted that Dragon wouldn't have been able to split them out. He would have been able to do a lot of damage there. So, Hive Tech done for Dragon. We haven't actually seen him get anything with Hive Tech. Those are not Cracklings yet. Have to assume Cracklings on... No! He got Hive, but not immediately starting Cracklings? He has money for it. That's definitely a mistake. There's never a situation where you don't want Crack. Like, you could only have 2 Lings and no hatcheries, you still want Crack. Well, if you had no hatcheries, I guess you really don't have anywhere else to spend your money, so that's a bad example. But still, you just always want Crack. Crack is good. Yeah, I know I just said Crack is good. It's fine. I really doubt I'm talking to any 12-year-old kids here. If I am talking to 12-year-old kids, don't do Crack. That's bad. But otherwise, look, if Crack was bad, people wouldn't ruin their lives for it. That's all I'm saying. So, definitely not getting any more upgrades, but at 3-2, and it looks like he's loading up another draw. This time only 1 High Templar with 3 Dark Templar escorts. And Dragon's going to go in for an attack. Still no Crack. But there's so little presence here. No real wall. So these Lings can easily take out the cannons. Defi bringing in some reinforcements, but they might actually be too late to save the Nexus. I think that the Nexus is going down. Why does Dragon have no upgrades? Seriously, no Crack. Okay, Crack's done. Crack just finished. So he at least has Crack, but still 0-1 Zerglings. 18 minutes into the game. That's not good. So, here's the Dark Templar drop. Excuse me. 2 of the Dark Templar taken out. The other one's going to hide over here. The Spore Colony is the detector. And that High Templar got 5 kills. Okay. Look. It's 3-2 versus 1-1. That's such a big difference, especially when Dragon doesn't even have Hive units. He has no upgrades for his low tier units. He does not have Hive units. I don't know what Dragon's plan was in this game. He didn't... Yeah, he turtled, but then has no late game plan. Well, that's a 17 kill Dragoon. What a champ. Whatever Dragon's strategy was for this, he should reconsider it. So I don't think it's working out. Oh, the DT was able to snipe the Spore Colony. And now the Overlord finally getting in there. And... oh! Caught the DT on the back swing. That is a 2-frame move. and he got punished by Zerglings. Dude, Zerglings totally look like Amy. Just like arf, 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 arf. It's totally what Zerglings are! Oh, man! Oh, my mind is blown. Amy is a Zergling. Especially white Zergling. Just arf, 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 arf. And that's like the timing for it, too, and Amy's an X Factor. Oh, man. Oh. Zerglings kind of even look like dogs. Kind of looks like a dog. Wait. I'm hating because I'm hating because I'm Canadian. But Dragon is Canadian, implying that Canadians hate each other? I did not know Canadians hated each other. I did not know Canadians hated anybody, much less each other. I don't think they particularly like the ones from Quebec. But is it are we now implying that I am Canadian and Dragon is French Canadian? Is Dragon French Canadian? I don't know if Dragon's French Canadian. I've never heard him talk. I'll have to ask him how he spells words, and if they're wrong, then he's French. He doesn't have a French name, because I have him on Skype, although I've never actually talked to him to hear his accent. At least I don't think it's French. I don't think it's French in the sense that I don't have to, like, pucker my lips to try to pronounce it. Which is how I have to pronounce every other French word. Like, think of any stereotypical French word. You have to pucker your lips during it. Oh, no. Aw, Dragon could snipe the Templar there. Looks like he was just trying to sneak in Zerglings to do some damage to these bases morphing in, but unfortunately ran into Duffy's entire army. Well, Dragon's on even supply. 160, 160. He has managed to get to Hive Tech. He has managed to get pretty good upgrades. Despite the fact that Duffy was really far ahead for a good amount of time, Duffy isn't so far ahead except for the fact that he has half the map. Not quite, he needs to take this. Then he'd have half the map. But Protoss has more bases than Zerg. Not to mention that this one hardly even counts, or this one count, or that one. Okay, so once Dragon gets these next 3 bases finished, he'll be on even bases with Protoss. That's not a good statement to say. Once Zerg gets these 3 bases finished, he will be even. Ugh. That's bad. But he does have a 170 supply army with good upgrades at this point. That is a lot of cracklings, though. This is a very, very scary army. But given that many cracklings and that many lurkers, he needs to micro it correctly. Can he micro it correctly? Oh, the storms! Oh, he cannot micro it correctly. Oh, he is getting nothing. Oh, man. Duffy's supply did not drop. Duffy's supply did not drop. Dragon lost 70. Oh, wow. Storm is good. Storm is really good. And the story of the day was Reps Protoss is not using Storm. Or not using as much Storm as other people do. But Deafy Storm. That might be it. That might be it. There are now Reavers. The mass. Oh! Oh! Oh, yes! Do it! Yes! He took out the empty shuttle! Oh, that's so great! Oh, man. I hope Deafy realized that so he can have a hearty laugh to himself. Because that's funny. There's no reason to have that other shuttle flying around except for to potentially tank some Scourge shots. And he was lucky enough to tank some Scourge shots. Oh, that's sick. So, another shuttle flying in. So now there are 4 Reavers once again. But lots of the reinforcement units for Deafy have run out. So these Reavers are pretty vulnerable. If Deafy was to attack them, the question is he going to be able to get up an army to actually take out some naked Reavers? And it is not looking that way. Loading them back up. Should just load the Archons up and then jump them over into the main. That'd be great. One of Dragon's new bases down. This will be the second of Dragon's new bases down. Meanwhile, Deafy has expanded this side, so Deafy does have half of the map and is ahead of bases on Dragon. That is even before taking out 2. Yeah, Dragon's sending as few units as he has to try to deal with this, but it's 68 supply. 68 supply compared to 150. It looks like Deafy, who I was putting him on blast in the beginning. I was saying, why are you using Deafy? He's just the captain. He's not any good. You have better players, but he is going to seal it out. He is going to knock LRM out of the playoffs, move on to play GT. Oh, he found the tech. Defiler Mound gonna go down. Ultralisk Cavern going to go down. Dragon sending in the last remnants of Zerglings, but there are not enough here to do damage. They're killed off before they can even attack. And now, just the stragglers, the stragglers of Dragon's army picked off in the middle of the map. 50 to 73. Dragon, you gotta storm dodge. Gotta dodge. Dodging. It's not just an important skill in dodgeball. It's an important skill in StarCraft. GG from Dragon. Reps takes it 4-2. Don't even need Project to come back in the ace match. And will it move on? As the 6th seed, they are the lowest seed, regardless of who wins the next match. So they will go on to play GT, who was the number 1 seed. And then the winner of IFU versus SAS will play... excuse me. The winner of IFU versus SAS will play NB. Should be good. Is Awa still in chat? I have to ask him. I actually don't know what the status with L Master is. So while I'm waiting for him, gives me a perfect opportunity to shout out to the sponsors, which I need to do anyway. Shout outs to the primary sponsor, obviously Twitch TV. It is their Gambit Cup. You're watching this on Twitch TV. I quite enjoy Twitch TV. Admittedly, I have not gone on to I've not tried streaming from other streaming sites, so I can't definitively say Twitch TV is the best, but Twitch TV is the best. I mean, just look at how many people use Twitch TV, and as a viewer, it tends to be easier to do it on Twitch TV. Twitch TV is good stuff. And shout outs to the 2 individual sponsors, Nerbopolis and Prowler. Thank you, big thanks to those guys for helping out. I'm not getting information from Awa. Then I can ask the chat, did Did Elmaster cast his games? Can somebody tell me if Elmaster casted his games? Okay, somebody's asking when SAS versus IFU is, which means it was not casted. Awesome. I will be casting SAS versus IFU because we agreed beforehand if Elmaster was not able to cast today, I would be casting... Excuse me. I would be casting at... Yeah, can't get it out. I will be casting 17 CET Sunday. And then immediately after, I will be casting ISL 21 CET Sunday. But before 21 CET Sunday, there is 21 CET Saturday, when I will be casting other ISL. So I have a lot of casting on my schedule. I'm taking over both ISL shifts and both Gambit Cup shifts for this week. You can get a whole lot of Hackle Beast. And I have to say, we at the ISL crew have put a lot of technical effort into the ISL cast. Is going to be good. There will probably be a technical issue, but once we work that technical issue out that we don't know what it is, it's going to be really good because we're implementing a lot of cool stuff. So I'm excited to show it to you guys. I'm excited to see the games. You guys should be excited. Thank you all for watching. Good night to Europe, because it is really late in Europe.